Welcome to the Meat and Potatoes Podcast. Today we're here with Isaac Freckleton, who is the founder and CEO of Eve Financial. How are you?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
I appreciate you taking the time. I know you're busy, and let's just jump right in. The founding story of Eve Financial.
Yeah, it's a great question. So about 2 years ago, I started Eve, and I had been the chief operating officer of another financial services company for about 3.5 years. And in doing so, you see a lot that works and a lot that doesn't. And I felt like the realm of consumer finance was broken, and there were some pretty big gaps that needed to be fixed. So I actually started Eve with the dream of making it easier for startups and small businesses to get funding. I'd personally experienced that myself. It's really tough. In fact, I attribute losing one of my first businesses to just a $50,000 loan that we needed to take, and we brought on the wrong people, and it ended up costing us a lot. Cost us the business where we'd done over $4 million in our first year of business, and just a $50,000 loan cost us the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a complicated industry, right?
Yeah.
And it would be really tough to be a founder in the financial fintech industry without prior knowledge of how it works, what's good, what's bad.
Right.
So it sounds like you thought there was enough bad things and you had a better solution to go out on your own.
Yeah, fintech is a space where a lot of people are putting their attention, particularly in the space of startup financing. There's not a lot of good options, and people are forced to go through like the merchant cash advance working capital route that Lendio does a great job of solving, but those interest rates can be really predatory. Easily 30% plus, and sometimes into the hundreds of percents. And so we started Eve in the space of helping a startup, helping a small business get financing at some of the most critical junctions. But ironically, these businesses kept coming back to us and saying, well, what you did for me, can you just do that for my customers? We don't have any adequate solutions of financing our customers. And so I'm sure we'll cover that today, but that was a large part of our journey, is pivoting from exclusively startup financing and into consumer finance.
Yeah. You just mentioned it, but it sounded like there would be a pivot somewhere over the last 2 years, and it sounds like you guys might be at the apex of the pivot currently.
Yeah, that's right, Garrett. So we've been in business for over 2 years now, but about half of that has been active development on a consumer financial product, a consumer credit card, and we actually launched that at the end of this month, and come into our beta test with real users.
Okay, and so with the pivot occurring now, what was that like as far as the decision-making process? You're obviously gathering data,
Right.
And it could be anecdotal, right? It could just be phone calls or email conversations where you're seeing a new market within your new idea, right?
Right. Yeah. So we found that about 70% of the business that was coming to us was actually outside of an entrepreneur who was looking for capital. It was a roofing company that was asking us, hey, my customer needs $10,000 to put a new roof on, and they don't have it. They don't want to wait for a home equity line of credit, or they've already maxed it out. What can you do? It was, trade schools saying this student needs $15,000 to engage in our programs so that they can get a better job. How can you help us with that? It was practices saying, hey, my customers need $1,200. What can we do?
Okay. So you gave a few examples there, but it sounds like, again, if it's the roofing example, and then the customer, they could either save their pennies for many years.
Yeah.
And then there's probably 8 or 9 different ways to do it. Not being an expert, but knowing enough, they're all time consuming and problematic in their own ways. And so the roofing company would benefit.
That's right.
And the customer would benefit. So it's like both sides of the cash register, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it actually, if you take a little bit of a step back and you look at the space of consumer finance, over the last 10 years, something that's been red hot is this concept of buy now, pay later. Are you familiar? You heard the concept?
Yeah.
BNPL, people say. It's like Affirm or Klarna or Sezzle. You're online shopping for a new jacket, a new Peloton, a new mattress, whatever, right? You can either pay or you can finance it right then and there. That space of buy now, pay later has been really red hot for online shopping and e-commerce, but it's left the service industry. It's turned a blind eye to the service industry. So dental offices, automotive repair, med spas, any of those types of companies, veterinary care even. And so, our approach is, our feeling is that you need that dental surgery. You need to get your pet back in good health just as bad as you need to buy a new handbag online. So why can't you finance that too?
Way worse.
Yeah.
Right? Like, who cares about buying a new skateboard?
Exactly.
That seems almost foolish.
Yeah.
But like if your dog's sick or you've got a toothache or your car's not working, that's a direct impact.
Yep.
So that's where you guys are focusing on.
That's right. Yeah. And, we get approached pretty regularly on online shopping opportunities and financing for it. And we've said that right now that's not our focus. We're entirely focused on the services industry and how can we better connect customers with fair money.
Yeah. Because the buy now, pay later options on all these e-commerce websites, it's cringeworthy. I'm like, I hope this person in my life never sees that button.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can, what's going to happen.
That's right.
After that. But I've also seen, and we've all seen in our lives, like that person could really benefit by going to the dentist and getting that taken care of, or
that's right.
Their dog's sick.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So I see the benefit for two customers at the same time for you guys, right?
That's right. Yeah.
All right. So we've surmised that the old ways of doing it are either problematic, take too long, or in the end don't work. So I assume you guys have a speed advantage as well to do all this?
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking to the speed side of things is something that we've really focused on. Customers can get financed in a matter of like 3 minutes in their dental office before they walk away. Yeah. And on the taking care of both sides of the register, the business, we tend to see about a 30% increase in revenue if they're using financing right. So, speed is something where we've said, okay, if you don't have time to go home and save up your pennies,
right,
to use your analogy, right? You're in the dental office, you need the surgery right now.
Yeah.
If you can't pay for it right now, what are you going to do? And I'm sure you've seen the stat that's been floating around forever. 50% of Americans can't cover a $400 surprise expense.
Yeah.
So you've got a $600 root canal. What are you going to do?
Yeah. And if you keep going down that path, like the person with the massive toothache is not going to be productive at their job.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be ornery at home, and it's just not worth call it $1,000, right?
Yeah.
And so if in that example of the dental office, if the dentist has an opening at 3 p.m. and the person comes in at 1 p.m. using Eve, they can get the procedure done in the same day, paid for.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. And then with, again, my limited experience with dental offices, cousin's a dentist, but, there's staff that aren't dentists
right,
who are handling office administration, setting up
yeah,
appointments, but then probably collections as well.
Yeah.
All of that. So that extracts them from that transaction with you guys. Now you guys kind of manage that customer, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah. Something that we talk a lot about is, as a company actually came from our VP of sales. I know you've met Joe, but it's this concept that we're trying to become the Uber of service financing. Before Uber existed, there were taxis, right? Mm-hmm. Nobody enjoyed the taxi experience, right? It was always painful, but you didn't have any other solutions. And then Uber came in and innovated in the user experience. How do we make this something that's actually truly enjoyable? And we tried to take that exact same approach with service-based finance, whether you're getting your car fixed or your tooth fixed. And one thing that we looked at pretty heavily was the office administrator right now. They're not very financially sophisticated, right? Let alone do they understand how much of a monthly payment their customers can afford. So we said, we want to make this something that's simple enough that you don't even have to think as an office administrator. How do you get something that just works? You're not running calculations in your head. You're not trying to decide, well, can we afford a 20% fee right now on this customer? Or do you think the customer can afford a larger payment? It was all around innovation in the user experience and making it something that anybody can do and making it very easy for both sides.
I love it. Okay, so with this industry and with like you guys finding new ways to have two successful customer interactions, how are you and your team going about building out these products, ideating? What's the process like in the middle of a pivot for you guys?
Yeah, I'd say we're definitely a product-driven company. We start with product first. So we've got a wonderful product and design team that spends all of their time right now beginning with consumer interactions and consumer feedback and taking that and trying to distill concepts and principles out of customer feedback of what is the desired interaction and how do we improve the user experience. And so on the business side, we're looking at how do the businesses engage with their customers? What are their customers buying? What are they spending? What do they expect when they walk into the dental office? And how do we deliver something that meets or exceeds their expectations? Okay. On the financial engineering side, we're looking at it and saying, okay, what are the existing market solutions look like? And how do we take the best principles out of many different types of credit, whether it be an installment loan, a credit card, patient finance, and how do we distill all of those principles into something that works consistently where we also don't lose money in trying to deliver a better product?
Okay. So there's definitely like research and business development, product focus. Is it a little bit of an advantage that you guys have being, in 2022, figuring out a better model?
Yeah, absolutely. I look at the financing space for the services industry, and it hasn't seen innovation in the same way that online shopping has in the last 10 years. And so all of the products are very outdated. People don't like the experience. It's going back to the taxi. Like, they're going to take it because they have to, but there's no love for it. Yeah. And so our focus has largely been on how do we actually bring a better product out. And one thing that we've done in order to deliver on that is, I'm a big believer that respect is something that you should maintain for life, right? It's not, I've just met you, so I'm going to be respectful to you, and then I'm going to turn around and slam you behind your back. And one thing that's always frustrated me about credit cards is they have an introductory offer where you get 6 months, 12 months of 0% APR. After that, you're taking it in the teeth every time you don't pay your card off in full. And so we wanted to be the first card in the U.S. to bring out a rotating 0% door. So whether you're spending at your dental office or your groceries, Eve is the first credit card that gives you 4 months of 0% APR every single time you spend forever. You go get groceries, you got zero interest for at least 4 months. You go get a filling, zero interest for at least 4 months, whether it's the first day or 2 years into owning the credit card.
Oh, very cool. And then it's ultimately on the person to make a prudent decision that they can pay that back in 4 months, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, money's not free, so obviously we need to charge interest, but we've found that we can be better than most.
Very cool. And how do you guys go about getting your customers? Because again, like using the dental office, they get hit up for financial management or, hey, try this new toothbrush, try this new expense. Like they take a lot of business calls. As dentists. So how have you guys figured out how to interact with these service providers and get them to become customers?
It's a fairly simple conversation. Most of these dental offices and automotive repair shops are already going to have some type of financing, and there's enough friction and frustration with it that it is a very simple conversation. We've got a better product for you. It's just and for those that don't already offer financing or they've been so jaded by it because they haven't had great experiences, it's a simple conversation of we're going to help you make more money.
Yeah.
We're going to help your customers pay for this and do so in a fair way, and we're going to help you increase your revenue.
Yeah. Yeah, if somebody as dumb as me can understand it right out of the box, I'm sure they get it because they have to interact in that world daily. And what methods have you guys found that work best from like the sales side? Is it phone calls? Is it emails? Is it some other sneaky, cool way that?
Yeah. So we've found success and are right now developing like a marketing funnel where we're educating people and business owners on how financing works and why we're a better product that would enable them to just, it'd be as simple as watching a Facebook ad or a YouTube ad and convert themselves. And in my previous companies, I've seen a lot of success in that approach, but at Eve, there's been no lack of interest. And so we just have an outbound sales team that hits the phones really hard. And we've been very fortunate that we, again, like I say, we've seen no lack of interest.
Yeah. And like your kind of key KPIs would be like customer retention.
Yeah.
And obviously you want them just like referring their friends and network over to you guys as well. That's free.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are some other metrics that you guys track?
Like usability. What percentage of users are using this on a monthly basis? So monthly active users is a really big thing. Sean Rad, the guy who founded Tinder, is one of our investors, and something that he hits on pretty aggressive and consistently is if you don't have 40% of your users that are consistently using you, you don't have a very strong market fit. 40% is kind of the gold standard of 40% are monthly active users. You've achieved strong market fit. 20%, 30%, it's okay. You're solving a problem, but you probably don't have users that are obsessed with you. And so that's been our goal of how do we understand what people like and how they're using us so that we can strive for that goal.
Very cool. And then you've mentioned a few times that there will be kind of a launch.
Yeah.
And a recommunication to the world on any financial. There's a party.
Yeah.
Want to get some details on that? Yeah,
on the 30th. I'm a big believer in community, right? Utah's a thriving hotbed of innovation. And I think it's important sometimes to take a step back and connect with people locally as well as with local businesses where we can benefit them. So we've got our launch party right now set for the 30th at 6:30 p.m. It's open to the entire Utah community. Obviously, we're placing a priority on outbound invitation to dental offices and vet clinics and the like. But it's open to the Utah community. Anybody can come. We've got food, drinks, a DJ, prizes. We're giving away on raffle $1,500 tickets to Hawaii. So just anybody can RSVP. Just send an email out to support@eve.co.
Very cool. The 30th of March, 6:30 in location.
It's at the Kiln building. So the Kiln has two locations right here in Lehigh. We're on the 5th floor of the newer building that they've opened up on Ashton Boulevard.
Cool. All right. Now, meat and potatoes part of the podcast. CEO, Buck stops with you on a lot of things. And interested in how you kind of structure and manage your day. What are some tools and tricks that you use?
Yeah, so I use ClickUp, which is a task management software based out of Utah here. I also have a little notebook that can fit inside my pocket that I use for just kind of writing down notes and staying on top of all of the tasks that need to get done in a given day. Sometimes it's nice to have a piece of paper and a physical pen to write down notes, but I live pretty religiously by my calendar, Google Calendar. So usually my day is stacked pretty often every 30 minutes from about 8:30 until 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Some of that, though, Garrett, is intentional, individual contributor time, right? It's focus time because it's so easy to get distracted and pulled away by questions here and there that oftentimes I find it's really important to schedule an hour or two here and there to go and just focus on doing what I say is my real job.
Yeah.
Everything else is just admin.
Yeah. Yeah, it's probably daunting at times and fun at times, but it seems like you guys have landed on a really cool concept and business model. And we are, again, grateful you took the time to join this podcast, and congrats on everything. And might be at that party hoping for the Hawaii
That's right.
tickets. Otherwise, I probably won't go again for a while. So. Cool. Well, thank you so much, Isaac. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Garrett. It's been a real pleasure.
Appreciate it.